up your volume. Give me 1 second.
We're gonna need to work on getting.
I was just talking to her Saturday about having her on for an interview, and here she is.
Yes. What's up, everybody? How are ya?
How's the gym going, training? This has been a while since you've been here at K-Shites. It was what?
Lanisha Vincent. We caught up for a quick second. I didn't want to interrupt your sparring too much, but it's been since your Lanisha Vincent fight as an amateur.
I know.
Your last appearance as a competitor at K-Shites.
It feels weird to think that I'll be fighting. I was like slightly regretting it. I'm like, oh no, now I'm gonna have to see all these people. But no, I'm actually really, really excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait. It's been a while.
Because Mike doesn't like you.
Because I don't like you.
I know he doesn't like me, as in for years. There's a few of us he doesn't like.
Dude, I like that's it hurts me when she says that.
That's not true. That's not.
I like
I'm
everybody.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Are you hitting the right button for the volume?
I'm trying to
volume
going
down.
Yeah, it's not going up.
So the funny thing is that I don't know if I'm going to blow up her spot, but Hilarie's sister was one of the first girls to ever try out to be a ring girl.
Okay, so here's the real story, though. She just tagged along with a friend, my friend Kim, who was auditioning and then trying out. And so my sister also joined in, and my sister's like, I would never be a ring girl ever, but she probably could have did all right.
Yeah, no, she was fun. She was a good time. I think she actually came to 2 ring girls.
Did she?
Yeah.
She lied to me.
I think she came to 2. But either way, she was a good sport. And I never knew she was your sister. And I forget how we kind of figured that out eventually. But
I know. I don't even remember either. I forgot that because that was so long ago. That was way before I was even fighting.
It was 12 years ago. 13 years ago, 2009.
That's crazy.
This will be my first Hilarie Rose fight live, and I couldn't be more excited for it.
There's so many people who have never seen me fight live who will be there.
I'm so pumped up. I see you spar live, and I imagine it's very similar. But
well, you've been traveling state to state for basically your whole professional career, getting to the Contender Series, and then what's it going to be like coming back to Plymouth after all these years as a pro?
It's going to be really cool. I think that, as an amateur, I started there. So I think that when I walk out, it's going to feel like super surreal being there and, having like family and friends and teammates and just all you guys being there is going to be so cool. So I can't wait.
So obviously it's been a while since you fought, but USMMA is no stranger to Plymouth Memorial Hall.
No.
What is it like bringing these younger fighters up and seeing them get to compete and, seeing the emergence of USMMA in the last few years with all
It's awesome. We have such a tight-knit group. There isn't many of us. Like, we have a small little group. There's maybe like 8 total if we're all there. But we're so we like to work in small groups, and I think that it kind of works to our advantage. And we, pay attention to detail. And I think every time we get in the cage or we're going to be fighting a Muay Thai fight or anything, that whether we win or lose or we get a draw, we always show up. So I think that, it always shows that every time someone from USMMA, fights, that we like to perform and put on a good performance for everybody. So I think that people think that too. So, but it's fun watching like Ashley, like having a young girl, I can teach her the ways of like the mistakes I made. And she's just like on another mental level that I wasn't even at where she's at right now. So it's cool to train with her and, all the guys. So we have a good group there. It's a lot of fun.
It might be a small group, but you guys are like active and you'll go anywhere to fight.
Yeah, we love to fight.
You guys are like the epitome of like send location. Like you were in South Carolina not that long ago with Ashley Barrett and Andrew.
We were gonna have Avery fight, and then he didn't fight. We had this kid Will fight down in South Carolina, so they did like a tournament. We just try to keep everybody busy and get them experience that they need, so that way when they make the transition to go pro or even just an MMA fight or from Muay Thai to MMA, so that they're feeling comfortable. I think a lot of people like rush people in when they're ill prepared, and we like to go in very well prepared every fight.
So Hill, you guys, I always give you guys so much credit because like Matt Martin and Tom Havers, you guys always prepared. But I got to say, Matt is probably one of the easiest guys to work with. Anytime I send him a name, it's never like any questions like, yep, we're in. You know, how is it training with those kind of guys, and how is it for your mentality getting into the cage, knowing the faith they have in you guys as fighters?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that if they're accepting fights, then they believe that we have the opportunity to win. Whether we do win or we do lose, I think that they believe in us down to their core, that they're going to get us prepared very well for the fight, and that they wouldn't accept the fight if they didn't think it was something that we could win. But they also want to see us challenge. So, you know, as an amateur, you know, you've seen Shane, you've seen Ashley, like we want everyone to be challenged so that by the time they go pro that they feel, you know, prepared and ready to go. Or if they never go pro, that they're just still being challenged. You know, every fight shouldn't be easy. And, you know, I think that, you know, myself included has had easy fights, you know, as a pro, that I think that, you know, you got to be prepared and you have to have those tough fights as an amateur so that you feel, you know, good when you're in there, and, you know, that there's more time and there's, you know, more things are on the line at that point.
So you got to commentate Gabrielle Golfin's fight.
Just about to
Yeah.
ask
Yeah,
that.
there you go, Andy. Go ahead.
I was going to ask first off, how was your experience in the commentary booth? As I was not there joining you that time around, but hopefully you get to come back into the booth sometime soon. But sitting cage side, going over detail, one of the craziest fights of the year. That was back and forth between Gabrielle Golfin and Kylie O'Hearn. It was fight. I was pacing the stage like a lion waiting to eat, watching that fight, losing my shit. So I can imagine you guys were tremendous in the commentary booth for that. I would have been losing my mind.
Oh, Hilarie was great.
But
I had so much fun. I thought that it was time, you know, that there was a woman there to commentate. It's good. I think that it was totally fun. And, you know, I never got to see, you know, Gabriella Golfin fight live. So for sure watching her fight, I mean, I had no intention at that time thinking that I was going to fight her at some point. That just happened to like work its way out, and I'm looking forward to it. But I also think that I have, you know, not an advantage, but, you know, I was up close and personal, and I got to see and, you know, talk about some of the things I maybe thought she lacked, or I thought the things that she was good at. So I'm looking forward to the fight. I think that her and I find it kind of similar to like my fight against Lanisha, where like she's going to come in hot, she's going to throw heavy strikes, and she's not afraid to get hit. I remember fighting Lanisha and like kicking her right in the head, and like she just kept coming. And I remember being like, why is this happening? And this girl isn't stopped. So I know it's going to, you know, take a lot of effort to get a finish from her on the feet. So, you know, I'm hoping I can get down there, get her on the ground maybe quick and beat her up there. So we'll see how it goes.
Giving away some of your game plan.
So, I like that.
I'll tell my
she's
game
that
plan. I'm
confident.
not worried about that.
To be fair, it's not that she didn't get the analyst perspective sitting cage side for her opponent's last fight, so she's going to throw it out there, kind of even in the playing field, throwing your game plan out there a bit. But yeah, that definitely has to play a factor when you're going in knowing that kind of
for sure. And I mean, I'm not taking anything away from her. Like Gabby Golfin is a savage. Like she's a fighter. She goes in there and she fights every single time. And I anticipate a fight, you know, when I fight her. I don't think that it's an easy fight. You know, any fight is a hard fight, and any fight right now in my career is very important. So, you know, got to put on a good performance.
Absolutely. So you obviously fought on Dana White's Contender Series. Obviously, you don't want to look too far past Gabrielle Golfin. You know, obviously that's still the goal. Try to get to that level of the UFC Contender Series. Another crack at that.
I'd like to skip Contender Series if, you know, that opportunity showed up. I know that it's a great opportunity, and I was kind of already there, and I've got, you know, to dip my feet in. But at this point, I'd rather rack up wins and wait until I get the actual opportunity to fight in the UFC. Of course, that if, you know, the Contender Series fight pops up and it's a great fight, I'd love to fight for Contender. But right now, the goal is just to get right in the UFC. And not saying this in a bad way, but they're cutting a lot of straw weights. So I'm finding that if I won Contender Series a few years ago, and I got a contract, that maybe I wouldn't have been as prepared as I feel like I am now. So I'm a different fighter than I am now than I was when I fought on Contender. So I think that I would be way more prepared now than I was then. And I have way more things in my toolbox now than I did then.
So you really think that setback has matured you in your fight career to attack that goal even better?
Yeah, for sure. There were so many things that I realized I lacked, especially strength. Like my biggest thing after the Contender Series fight was building strength. So I talked to Mike Perry. I went up there and, I put on tons of muscle and, we focus on those things. Sorry, my dog is attacking me as we speak. But
Mike Perry's a wizard.
he's
Absolute
a wizard,
wizard.
and he's fantastic, and he's specific to each fighter. All of us have different issues where like I had a fight that I lost in February where I said, I felt really physically fatigued. I didn't feel like my oxygen was, out of breath. I felt like my body was tired. So, we focus on those things, and every fight camp and in between fight camps, we get better. So I'm super grateful for him. He's an amazing coach.
Nice. What else you got for her?
I mean,
you got a big support group.
No doubt.
Would you like to give them some mention, or like, obviously you mentioned Mike Perry, we mentioned Matt and Tom, where you're training, who some of your support group is?
So I'd like to shout out Carlos Lazoya. He's, helped me with so much of my wrestling, between, my fights a few fights ago. I think I'm starting to kind of finally link things together and feel more comfortable with my wrestling, MMA wise, where I think that I had just enough wrestling that I could maybe take someone down, but now I'm figuring out balance and position and control way better because of him, because the way he describes it and the way he teaches it really has opened my eyes. So Carlos Lazoya is a savage, and I know Justin sees him often. So he's really, really great. And he's really, really helped me to advance my grappling wrestling game. So shout out to him and all my other teammates, Ashley, Avery, Shane, Will, Danny. You guys know Danny. He's the best too. So hopefully he'll get on one of your cards soon too.
Oh, we love Danny. I told Matt, I know he has a fight supposedly this weekend. I said, if anything falls through, we want Dan. We love the US MMA guys.
Yeah.
We want Danny.
full of killers, no doubt.
We have a great crew. Everyone is super, super nice. And, we like to be professional and we like to put on a show. So I think that that's really important.
So my last question for you, obviously a big strawweight fight in the UFC this past weekend. What was it like seeing that fight, and what do you think of Joanna retiring?
Joanna's retiring. Yeah, that was.
I was so sad to see her retire because
you and I both.
The first time I ever fought at my first amateur MMA fight was the same day she had her very first fight in the UFC, and I remember following her career from the beginning of then until now, and I was in complete shock. I didn't think she was going to retire, and I was texting back and forth with my coach, Matt, and he's like, she's taking the gloves off. She's taking the gloves. I was like, she couldn't possibly be retiring. But, like, in my mind, there's so many fights that I'd still love to see her have, like Marina Rodriguez. Like, I'd like to see her fight her, like Mackenzie Dern. So, but, it takes a lot of guts. And
oh, no. She died on us. There you are. You're on mute.
Can't hear you.
You're on mute, Hill.
I don't think so.
Oh, there you go. Now we can hear you.
Oh, I was going to say I didn't think so.
Someone she has a lot of good fights. She has a lot of good fights.
Yeah, great fights. I was sad to see her retire, but you know what? Maybe it's the best. She said she's 35 and wants to have babies, so that's the way it goes.
So funny you say that, because I remember watching her first title defense against Jessica Pena en route to my first amateur fight. Like, I was that diehard of a fan after she beat Carla Esparza for the championship in that storm. But yeah, when she retired, that was devastating.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I didn't anticipate that, but I know that like earlier in the week she had talked about, it being towards the end and stuff. So, but you know what? Good for her. She probably needs some good money, and she put on great fights.
Yeah, you think
she's
about
a legend.
her.
She's a Hall of Famer.
First ballot.
For her, Joanna's number one. She is a champion in her mind, and
for sure,
probably and she carried herself like that all the time. And then when she realized, like, those number one, number two people, she couldn't beat them anymore. It's like, she's fighting to be the best. She believes that. And if she couldn't be the best, she's not playing for like the fourth and fifth spot.
No, she doesn't want that at all. And I mean, she got her fight with Weili the first time. Like, that was a long recovery. Like, I mean, she looked like, I don't even know. I've never seen anybody's head look like that.
Yeah, that was insane. Hey, so she said, I read today that she said Zhang Weili finishes Carla Esparza in the first. What do you think about that?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know about the first, maybe the second, but I think that Wei Li just goes right through Carla Esparza. And then hopefully Rose gets to fight Wei Li again, and fantastic.
For her title back, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Great. Great.
So
But I'm biased. I'm a big Rose fan, so I'm just,
You
Oh, me too. Me too.
So
Yeah.
my last thing, we got Nate on the call. We're going to bring him in. But my last question for you, it's been a little while since you've been at Memorial Hall. There's a whole new slew of Cage Titans fans that are going to be seeing you for the first time. In addition to the crowd that you're going to bring, because we know everybody loves Hilarie Rose, besides me, obviously. But all your fans are coming, but there's going to be a slew of new fans that haven't had the opportunity to see you live. What can they expect from you on fight night?
I think they can expect a very good scrap and a very dominant performance. I think that this is going to be a really good fight where I can showcase a lot of things that I'm good at. Not taking anything away from Gabby. I know that she's a very good fighter, but I think that this is a really good fight for me to showcase a lot of the things that I've been working on. And I think she's going to kind of feed that opportunity to me naturally. So, but we'll see how it goes. You never know. Fights are a fight. You get hit and everything changes.
Yeah, that's why we fight. That's why we show up on Saturday. Well, thank you so much for your time after training. Any last shout outs before you go? Any sponsor or anything like that?
I have tons of sponsors. Shout out to all them. They all know who they are. I don't even think I could name them all. Shout out to Joe Lozon. He's always helping me out too. He welcomes me into his gym. Mike Perry, Tom, Matt, Ash, Shane, Avery, Will, all those people. I love them. Oh yeah, and look, Krista Carlo, he's sponsoring me for this fight from Caged In. So shout out to him. He's a great guy. So
nice.
He is a great guy.
You can see this on your screen then, right?
I see some of them, not all of them. So I have to get close. So
all right. Well, there's beers on Rob.
And this guy Rob, he's gonna buy me beers after the fight, so I'm gonna hold him to that.
As you should.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Careful with that. So, but yes, thanks. And,
all right, guys. Thank you so much.
Another Hilarie Rose fight.
Talk to you soon, Hilarie.
Be well.
Bye.
Later.